probably the first thing that drew me in.
I bid you welcome.
Frankenstein's monster. It's the film that inspired me more than anything to do what I do.
Boris Karloff, the way he could suck his cheek in, the gauntness that he had.
I always wanted to be the bride of Frankenstein. That movie's the saddest.
Dracula, especially as portrayed by Bela Lugosi. I've never lost my fascination with him.
When I saw The Wolfman, that kind of clicked for me. And Chaney did such a great job on it. I mean, like he always said, that was his, and it was his.
Creature from Black Lagoon is my favorite monster. When I was a kid, that was the Super 8 movie that we watched forwards and backwards.
Half man, half fish? What a great design.
I got the job as the creature from the way I could swim. And I was freezing to death when we made that movie.
What I need is a vampire cocktail to settle my nerves. It'll not only settle them, it will petrify.
We didn't see the movies first run in the theaters in the 1930s. We saw the movies on television.
It was the era of the horror hosts.
There was a film this evening called Horror Island. It's on an island and it's pretty horrible.
They'd arise out of a coffin, to introduce the show, and you'd have a fog machine, and you'd see the fog machine. And they'd open the coffin and the lid would fall off of the coffin.
Saturday afternoon was sacrosanct, and it was always monsters.
For the days of VHS, circling the TV guide to see that Creature from the Black Lagoon was on at 2 in the morning.
Then you'd try to negotiate being up at those times.
If I set my alarm, my parents were in bed and they didn't have to know. If I kept the TV turned down low, I could catch a couple of these things.
And then in 1958, this magazine called Famous Monsters came out. All of a sudden, it appeared through their letters column that there were other kids out there.
My dad would go, "What do you got there?" I go, "Oh, it's Famous Monsters, Dad." "Why do you waste your money on this crap?" And he'd snatch it out of my hand and then lay on the sofa and read the whole thing from cover to cover.
Forey Ackerman, the editor of Famous Monsters, I felt like I've known him since I was, a kid. He was our connection to the world of monsters, behind the scenes.
It was great to see for the first time sculptures of a mask or makeup and molds and how rubber was made.
He created us. He was our uncle, our strange uncle, but our uncle.
It opened up this vista of we're not alone anymore. Thanks to Forey, you found there's thousands of us.
What is a monster kid?
Monster kid is a state of mind.
He's not happy with the mundane world around him and wants some kind of escapism.
Born with a sense of wonder.
I've surrounded myself in my life with monsters.
The smell of Aurora plastic, glossed flesh paint has never looked right.
Coffin with real sand from Transylvania.
Just thinking that's thrilling and cool and neat.
Halloween, that was special.
You took a sheet, you used your parents' old clothes.
The freedom of no one knowing who you are, so you can think you can get away with anything.
To me, it was a personal event. It was almost like a private event.
I love monsters.
Monsters are here to stay.
The monsters will live on.
There's going to be another generation of monster kids.
I love all the old movies.
My dad is a collector and I am too.
Be completely absorbed into some fantasy.
Kneeling down between the seats and peeking between the seats.
My room was this, only little.
Not what was in the dark, but what might be in the dark.
Someone who doesn't care if the Super Bowl is on and doesn't even know who's playing.
A monster kid. Me! I'm the definition of a monster kid.